Hello, hello, hello. Can everybody hear me okay? How's everybody doing today? Doing well? On this September 1st, we are finally at the end of what, I say this practically every year, but what feels like the most exhausting window, or one of the most exhausting windows that I've dealt with. It might be the most exhausting. It has more than most others not gone to plan. 2020 was pretty bad, but was short. There was football going through July, so it's weird. It's been weird. It's been a weird few years. And finally at the end of the window. Let me just make sure everybody knows that I'm live now. Finally, I am excited to be at the end of the window. I can't lie. I am extremely excited to be at the end of the window, to have gotten to the end of the window. It's good, Ranabir. Thank you. Good, always good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for thank you so much for always being around and interacting and all that still. So a couple things. Gonna talk about Garner, what I know about that deal, some information that I was given, some information about that. I want to talk about Chong. So those are kind of outgoings. Talk about what's happened with other people, and I want to talk about. What am I looking at? My God, there's just a lot of stuff happening. Not all United stuff, but then potentially, if there's still anything left for United, and preview the most likely team for Leicester. So we will get into that all in just a moment. First, today's video is once again sponsored by OneFootball. We've teamed up with OneFootball to help bring you the best in football news. If you're looking to keep up with everything going on these days, and it is a lot, to download the OneFootball app today for free. Ooh, let me move that over. Their easy-to-use app is clean and attractive, and you can see the latest transfers, top news curated for you. Where am I going? See match scores live, streaming without subscription, and so much more. All built and personalized for your interests. Click the link in the description below today to download OneFootball and get all your football news, aside from the Muppeteers, of course, all in one place. All right, look at this. I did this cool thing people have been asking for, where I highlighted something. That's pretty cool, huh? I am a tech genius. I highlighted the first subject, deadline day there. Yep. I am a technical genius. And, yeah, very smart now. I can do it. Check this out. I can switch. Bam, bam, bam. I did it. People have been asking for it. I did it. How fun is that? Yeah, super cool. Very excited about it. Look at that. very exciting times. Give me 1 second. I just have to make sure nobody comes into my office, and I'll be right back and we'll get started. All right. Okay, we're back. Super cool. Super cool. Yeah, let me get into certain subjects and then we will. You want help with the technical stuff? Trust me, yes. You can always you can always message me to offer advice. I'm actually quite good with tech stuff. I've just never done this isn't my area of expertise at all, unfortunately. Anyway, so let's get right into it to start. I want to definitely talk first about oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to talk first about, what am I talking about? Deadline day. So yeah, deadline day is today. The window shuts in, what is it now? 5 hours. Obviously, it's 1 hour after the game, and extremely unlikely for United to make any sort of deal at this point of time. But it's deadline day, and there's a lot. This is so far has been a very, very, very busy deadline day for a lot of clubs. Antony was obviously announced this morning, more formally announced he was registered as of about 9 a.m. As far as I know, first thing this morning he was registered. From what I understand, United are not doing their announcements until a player has registered and is getting their, work permit and all of that approved. So yeah, so that's why. So he was registered. It is too late for Leicester because the deadline for Leicester registration would have been yesterday, day before. I'll talk about Wan-Bissaka, yes, and then the day before, and then but for Arsenal, he should be at minimum on the bench. Obviously, as it's been said, it's up to Erik ten Hag whether Antony will be starting. I really like it. I mean, I as a Passion FC merchant type, I loved the announcement, the interview, the things that Antony says. Has definitely got me more interested and excited about the deal. So yes, I think that this is great. I think he's going to do really well, and I'm excited for that. So we don't know where Dubravka is. He's apparently signing his contract. He should be announced. I have a feeling he'll be announced at 11 p.m. or right at the end. They usually do. They usually are announced right at the very end. There's obviously a lot going on other deals. Arsenal are working on buying Douglas Luiz, and I hope they don't get him because it would be very nice if, they were stuck with not to get on this, but there's currently a player playing for Arsenal that probably shouldn't be allowed to be playing, and the fact that I would rather they don't get to buy backup for that, considering the situation. Jay Rhodes to do a live extra. Oh no, why is the phone ringing? Yeah, give me half a second. Let me just mute my phone here real quick, and I'll be right back. And this is why I don't do live streams. Give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I'm back. Give me a second, guys. I apologize for taking a while there. Yes. Hello. Sorry. Um, where was I? So, Aubameyang is off to Chelsea. What else is going on there? All right, I'll just get into the United stuff. So, what I was told about James Garner at the moment is that one of the reasons that he was sold, because I know the biggest thing is that people are kind of stressing about the fee that was asked for. That United got such a small fee for James Garner. And the problem is this is a very ordinary activity for United. They have these kids since they're young, and United pretty much have a policy that they do not want to hold back these players from moving on with their careers, okay? And that's really the reason why. That's really just it, the reason why. He's not rated that highly by Ten Hag. It was approved by Ten Hag. He rates him not that highly for the position that he's in. Garner himself preferred the move to Everton and wanted to get on with his career. Oh, shit. Flaunt the feature. Okay, look, I'm around Garner. Wanted to get on with his career, and... oh, man. All right, cool. Tech genius once again. And 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 United want to let things go. And so that's the reality of it. That's the reason they want to let him move forward with his career, not block things. It's one of the things that they've done for a long time is treating the youth players particularly well in this regard, giving them a lot of ease of movement. Would he have been able to go to Everton if they asked for 30 million? No. And so that's basically the problem that they have there is they want to give him that move. So they've got to sell on in case it goes on in the future. And so some can agree or disagree, but the manager did not and does not rate James Garner for the role entirely. So that's why he moved him on. But they have a sell on. I don't know why no buyback, but probably just because he wanted the freedom to move forward in his career. Maybe just making the move easy without having to work out what's the buyback, because realize you got a lot of complications when you start working in a buyback clause in terms of future value, things like that. So no buyback there, which also leads me to Iqbal. And it was reported, I think Jonathan Schrager said it, and this is similar to what I've heard, which is that Zidane Iqbal is definitely rated a bit higher than James Garner at this point in time. And, that he's more likely to be getting some minutes in the positions where United need help in the Europa League and in some other competitions, but that he's just viewed as a more promising prospect there. And then there's a lot of youth prospects coming through in this area that are just extremely highly rated. Manu, oh my God, I've had a horrible time pronouncing that. Anyway, there's a lot of youth players coming through that they don't want to necessarily block, and there are a lot of midfielders at the club, and yeah, you're right. Look, he's not. Is he that good? No, he's not good enough to be selected over Scott McTominay. He's not good enough to be selected over Fred. These are the considerations. Yeah, Kobe Mainu. These are the considerations of the manager. So it's just something that we have to accept. He has watched them. He has seen a lot. He has studied a lot. So got to trust his judgment on that. That brings me to Tahith Chong. So I was told kind of around when it came out, someone let me know that his fee would be around $1 million. Not high, but United were working to get a sell-on in place, and he may have a release clause in his deal. And I think that's probably because he's gone to a team that's at the bottom of the championship right now and could get relegated. But I think that's fair. I mean, I think there's not much value for Chong at all. I don't know if the fee was given, but I don't know if there's much value for Chong at all. And, he also very much needs to get on with his career. He's not United level, but he certainly could have a good career elsewhere, and it's only fair to let him go and move on with his life as well. So that's what's going on there. It's tricky. Players like, you know, Twanzebe, Mengi, those guys out there. There's been injuries, difficulties getting them out on loan, and so there's not that many offers out there. That says, I spoke to someone who told me 2 years ago, Robson, Garner, and Robson said only 11 and Garner were rated from the academy. Yeah, true. Ethan Laird, though. Ethan Laird is rated very highly, and he's someone that I think United are looking to bring back in next season. And I think that's one of the reasons why they weren't so pressed about buying a right back at this point in time. So, you know, that's something to think about, and that's really the right back situation. But I'll get to that on the anything else. So moving on to Dubravka. Apparently, from what I understand there, Dubravka, there's nothing wrong with the Dubravka situation either. He's signed. He's pretty much ready. Like I said, I think it's going to be announced late this evening. Let me see here. Yeah, there's nothing out there, but obviously it's not urgent, and yeah, nobody knows exactly when. I think it was reported from Romano that he was signing his contract a bit ago, and a couple hours ago he did medical 2 days ago, so I expect that it will be signed very soon, and he'll be announced probably after the game or maybe even tomorrow. There's surely no rush on anything like that, so I don't think it's a big deal. So in terms of anything else in this window, there's not expected to be, a loads more at all. As I said, after the goalkeeping forward, they were expecting that the window would essentially be shut at that point in time, and it was really only they were briefly offered Dest on loan, but I'd already heard they weren't intending to buy someone. There's a complication that's gone on with Brandon Williams. That means he's sticking around the club, and there's not been great offers for Wan-Bissaka, even though they have been rejecting them. At the end of the day, I believe the biggest thing is they don't want to spend money there because Ethan Laird is someone that they plan to use next season. He's off to a great start already. He is highly rated. He is doing well, and I think that people are going to see that next year. And he's had some health issues, but as soon as he is now feeling and being he's having a better time with his health, and I think that's going to mean he's going to stick around next season and come back and challenge Dallo. So that's the expectation for Laird, and the biggest reason why there's no right back. In terms of Ronaldo, Depay, all of that, really the only way that anyone could come in at striker is if Ronaldo leaves. And this morning I was given a slightest possible chance of it, but at this point it looks virtually impossible. Ronaldo traveled with the team. There's a name, there's other names aside from Depay that United were looking at that kind of had almost on speed dial if Ronaldo would go, but it seems extremely unlikely at this point why he would be able to leave, and it's just not happening, unfortunately. And I think that it would be better for everyone if he did. He wanted to go, they want him to go. And the biggest issue is United, if they're going to replace Ronaldo, they want the right profile, which is probably not Memphis Depay. And I think that's why you're not seeing that move for Memphis Depay anyway. They'd want somebody who provides big physical presence in the box and all of that and can be more of a poacher. Now, maybe Depay could do that, but I don't think he's necessarily the profile that United are looking for, at this point in time. Right now, and so that's where it's at. It's been a funny window, but as as I said, I wasn't even sure about Antony at this point in time. Expecting to announce Dubravka this afternoon. Yeah, maybe before the game. Okay, good to know. I didn't know he said that. So, it's been a funny window because, as Ten Hag said yesterday and came out in his press conference, he didn't expect, they had to adjust the budget, right? They had to get essentially more money because things didn't go well. They didn't get their first targets in any position, but they did get their second targets. The money for Antony wasn't there. A month ago we were talking about Rabiot and Arnautovic, and then Casemiro became available, and it was like we had bad results, and it was like let's go for it. And it's amazing how things have turned out in the end. It's a lot more than expected. Now, overall you could say, look, we didn't solve every problem, but the profile of the players is great. And to give kind of a rating on the window, and look, I know that a lot of people wanted me to talk about something with Frankie de Jong. I've told you it's been off for nearly a month. I've given you the Sancho tapes to explain it. It's so similar where you have these ITKs running around on Twitter saying that the deadline thing is here, the last thing is happening. And there's some legitimate rumor there too because the interest has remained. But guys, the deal has been dead. Come on. The deal's been dead for a long time. I just think at this stage in time, there's no way that all these incredibly informed people wouldn't know about it if it was going to occur. And if it does, then it would be as much a surprise to me as it would be to David Ornstein or anybody like that. Let's be real about it. So, let's just, move. I just suggest for your own sanity to move on with it. United have spent £210 million in the market. They're not going to spend $300 million. And the money, like I said, it's rare. It was reported by Lowry that the money is even stretched just for Antony. And so, this was never really going to happen at this stage. I understood once they signed Casemiro, Frankie was off. Like, not just off, but way off. It was actually off before that, but, that it's been off for a long time. So, look, if it happens somehow in the next 4 hours, then 5 hours, then so be it. But I'm not going to say that there's any chance of it because as far as I know, it has been impossible. It is amusing that what's gone on in this window, but if I want to rate it, I could rate the players, rate the window as a whole, and rate kind of how it's gone down. Malaysia, in terms of as a player, is easy as 7 there. It looks fantastic. Martinez a 9 for a signing. Eriksen is a 9 free, getting a player like that as quality. Casemiro to me is a 9, a fantastic player who solves a huge problem. Antony, this could be a 4 or a 10, based on how it works out. But right now I'm gonna say a 7. And Dubravka, I think, is a smart signing, even though it's tampered down by the fact that let Dean Henderson go and all that whole situation. Overall, I would say that the window is an 8 in terms of the quality of the players and profiles that we've gotten, because it was it solved a lot of problems, and gave us a lot of what we did not have, right? We didn't have, it gives us the backup left back that we needed, a left-footed center back that we needed, left-footed right winger that we needed, Bruno rotation and Eriksen, and a defensive midfielder. And the quality of each of these is fantastic and huge and extremely high quality. It didn't solve everything, but it's potentially 5 starters. So it's a huge step in the right direction, more than we would have expected at a backup left back or who can challenge for the left back position rather than Telles, who is just not good. We let a lot of free agents go, which I was happy about. But yes, the process was poor. As I said in the beginning, in May, Ten Hag was made to choose between that forward and Frankie de Jong. We could have got a forward in May. We could have got different midfielders sooner if they'd done a deadline for de Jong, or maybe gotten Casemiro a lot sooner. Martinez, Malaysia, and Eriksen, the timeline on them was fine, but the major things were problematic. And then it's also a black mark, the entire Ronaldo situation, that he wants to go, that they didn't get him, that they didn't bring him in, or that they didn't bring in an adequate replacement when they should have. And so those are the things that I believe make the bring the window down. But the players, look, again, the execution is like a 2 or 3. Trust me, I know that the execution is poor, but at the end of the day, the quality of players that we've got and what Ten Hag has to work with now going into the season, it was frankly a revolution. Half the team is different, and you practically have a second 11 that matches your first 11 now. The mentality of the players too should be discussed. Malaysia, Martinez, Eriksen, Casemiro, Antony, these are all players coming in with a huge point to prove. Very hungry players for different reasons. Casemiro's a warrior. Eriksen is looking, from everything that happened, to continue to revitalize his career, and the other 3 are just young, hungry players. And it's the right profiles. Established stars. I think I've talked about this through the entire window. When they were about to sign Rabiot and Arnautovic, how bad an idea it was. Because you want to get established stars or young, hungry players with high potential. And that's exactly what they did. So I think it was very good in that regard. And, next summer, I think you'll see Henderson and Laird return to help with the goalkeeper and right back situation. And all that money is going to be going into a striker, maybe even in January. But that would be good if we could sort that out in January. But yeah, as of now, I really don't see anything happening. Again, if there was anything, it would have been in the striker situation, in the striker area, but it's just not been there. It's just not been there. The situation has not been there. Any idea what number Antony will get? Thank you for the donation, Jack. No, Transfer Market says 21. I think that's a guess, but I have no idea. He's registered, which means it should show up on the Premier League website at any point in time. I don't know if anybody can look, but the hell was this? Oh no, that was last time. Premier League players. I don't know. He should get added to what, right? He should get added to the whole thing soon. I know the Anthony 21 thing I tweeted there was kind of a joke because it's been on there for the whole time. But it is an available number. I don't want to discuss anything with the 11, so I don't know. So anyway, thank you for that donation. As a reminder, if you want to donate to chat, to ask questions, or join as a member, then I will answer all your questions as well as we move into this. So before I go into the talking about Leicester, I want to answer any questions you might have, discuss anything that anybody might want to come up with, and answer them. Samuel says, thank you for your work over the window. Not bad for a Poch simp. Thank you for the donation, Samuel. And yeah, well, I still like Pochettino, but like I said, as soon as Ten Hag was the decision, I put all my ducks behind him and I've backed him. And my irritation with the window and the signings has not been Ten Hag, but has been the club not having the structure in place that is needed to make it all work. And that being said, the guys he's gotten are so good. I was so against Antony until it turned out how well Martinez and Malaysia turned out, and started really playing, especially in the last few games. And then I was like, fuck it. If he wants to get more players with that kind of mentality and attitude, then I am 100% all for it. So that's my guy now, and I'm going to back him entirely. But yeah, there really isn't anything more in transfers. Now we've spent another $100 million on Antony. Do you believe we will have even less money for next summer? Yes. I think we've got one signing next summer, and we're going to need some outs and sales too. I don't know anything about most other clubs. I occasionally get some stuff about Chelsea and things like that, but I really don't know anything about anybody else that I can say. Fekir to Barcelona is the rumored surprise signing. How interesting. Some interesting moves. Well, there were some interesting moves. Why did we agree a deal from David? Thank you for the donation. Why did we agree a deal with Barca without an agreement with De Jong? We don't normally do negotiate without an agreement with the player. Yes. So as I said this before, and this time it was quite the opposite. And the reason was Frenkie de Jong did not want to leave Barcelona. And that's the difference between most transfers. Most transfers, the player's looking to leave. So you get the agreement first, and then you use that as leverage on the club. In this case, it's the opposite. He didn't want to leave, so you had to take that and use it as leverage against the player by agreeing a fee and trying to get Barcelona to force him out. And it didn't work, and it's kind of a bad strategy, and United are to blame for it. Obviously, Barcelona are mostly to blame for it, and for not doing things the way that they should. So I definitely, really, for the most part, put it on Barcelona, but United should have recognized this, and they should have said, look, we're going to need a deadline by this time for you to say yes to joining us, or, there's nothing that we can do about it, and let it go. Ronaldo and De Gea's contracts expire. Yes, so that is a good point. And Dubravka, I'm curious to see what the length of the contract is. If it's a multi-year contract, I could see a very strong situation where De Gea's contract expires next year. Because I don't think you can have Henderson, De Gea, and Dubravka. So one of them's got to go, and then that's going to change things. So yeah, it will free up a huge amount of wages, and that's where most of the spending would come from. It's going to be something in the range of 800,000, so that's 40 million a year. So it gives you the availability for that big striker target, and I think that's what it was. De Jong was worth the effort because he's a great player, but the thing I worry about, and I think that Ten Hag has even recognized, and this is one of the reasons why I think he was quick to move after the losses, is that De Jong wasn't going to solve the problems we have on his own. He needs a defensive player. Risley, thank you for the donation, asked, any idea who the striker targets are for 2023? There is real interest in Osimhen. There was inquiries a while back, not to say that the swap thing had any legs, and there is absolutely interest in Christopher Nkunku, and I would say those are the two top of the list, but there are going to be more names explored. One of the things, as I've said, is this year their whole plan was to revitalize and rebuild the scouting and analytics department. They've hired certain data analysts and things like that, and they really do intend to utilize that and make it work, and to find and identify the right players. So it'll probably be based on how things go. Also be based on the kind of season Martial is having, even though it's off to a very bad start, as he's likely to miss the first 7 games now, being out for this week and probably longer. But Nkunku and Osimhen are two I know United had interest in. And so it's going to also come down to which profile Ten Hag decides, because Osimhen is different to Nkunku, is different to like a Haaland or Nunez. Well, maybe more like a Haaland. If Barca had given, oh my God, thank you, Fame Yasin. If Barca had given 17 million when Frenkie de Jong have left, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm very suspicious of all of that whole thing, because there's a true thing that I know, which is that United didn't say anything about the entire, about the entire deferred wages until it came out elsewhere. I'm still not confident that Frenkie de Jong approved the move. And so, personally, no. David C., latest on the Glazers, thank you for your work all through the summer. Appreciate it so much. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it as well. I really do appreciate everybody who's been a part of the summer. And obviously, I'll keep these going through the year because there's always news, there's always rumors, there's always things coming from the locker room. Last year, there was too much. But hopefully this year's a little calmer. latest on the Glazers is there's still a bit of conflict between the family members, and the only thing I can really preach is patience. Ratcliffe still wants to buy the club. There are still other people interested. They're still under a lot of pressure. They haven't been able to raise money the way they want to, and it's going to be a long, kind of drawn-out process, so I think the pressure needs to continue. Michael Gibson, thank you for the donation. Is Frankie a forever target, or is Eric going to have to put that desire aside for center forward next summer, provided the club isn't sold? If the club is not sold, then absolutely yes. I think what you're looking at now is a striker next year. By the following year, you'll have Fred, who's going to be probably running out of contract. You probably move McTominay by that time. You still have to deal with the Van de Beek situation. Eriksson will be out of a contract by then, or in his final year. So I think that it's striker, and then I think that you're working in Iqbal, getting some of those youth going, and then the following year you're starting to look at what options do we have, and going back to the midfield, and probably a center back, a midfield and center back in 2024 is that's usually the cycle at United, because we've got a ton of young wingers now. You get that striker sorted, you've got fullbacks all over the place, so I think the midfield and center back will be the 2024 targets, and it may not necessarily need to be a striker. Reckon we could see how Gakpo gets on the season, maybe go back in next year for striker. Yeah, even in January is another window when Ronaldo could leave and go to the Champions League. I can't say who the other one is, just to answer that one question. I can't say who the other one is about buying the club. All right, let's see if there's anything else on this that I can discuss at the moment, and then I will move on to previewing Leicester. You know, it's funny, is this last year? Yeah, last year, the last lineup for Leicester was Taya, Dallo, Maguire, Varane, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Pogba, Fernandes, Sancho, Elanga. It's going to look quite a bit different today. At least, I think, 4 or 5 changes from that. I think that's a good thing, considering what happened. So, let me go back to this. Fame Yasin again, thank you again. Thoughts on Rice to United now we have Casemiro. I think it's probably that. I think it really depends how it goes this year, but that's probably not going to happen. And I just don't see them spending that kind of money on a midfielder now. So let's get into it. Let's get into Leicester. Yeah, and so it's officially come out. Once Dubravka is officially confirmed, it will be the end of Manchester United summer incomings. Ronaldo stays as expected. So this is it. End of the window. As I had tweeted out some time ago, that's all. And this would be it. No, I don't have the lineup yet, and I wouldn't release the whole lineup. But I will give you information based on what I know. So I made a nice little screen for this too. Bam, look at that. The expected 11 for this game. Yeah, so starting with the changes, let's see here. Here's what I've got. In the changes to the last one, I think you're going to see very potentially, it might have been the Ricketts, you're going to see potentially Ronaldo come in. I've had a strong feeling that Ronaldo will play, given that he's staying, improve the relationship. If we feel like we can pin Leicester back, then I think that he will play, and because that relationship has to be repaired now. They cannot have drama going into the season. So I think it's a good gimme, and I think Rashford, Sancho, and Ronaldo will be the best front three we can field at the moment. Other change, I think then you're going to want a bit more energy and work rate in the midfield, with Fred coming in for Eriksson, who has looked exhausted and needs a rest. Casemiro coming in for McTominay. And, if you do that, then I don't think it's a big deal if you have Ronaldo not necessarily pressing when you have that much energy in the midfield and work rate. And then I think Maguire will play today as well. I think that Varane will get a rest. His minutes are being managed. I know that for a fact. They've been worried about it. They want to keep him healthy. He missed nearly every big game last year, and they're going to want him to be healthy. So I do believe he will be staying. I do believe he'll get rest now because you want him to be healthy. You want him to be alive for the Arsenal game. So I do think he'll be there. I do think he'll be around. I think he's going to be on the bench, and I think Maguire's going to get some minutes. But, it could be a couple things. I don't know if Lindelof is fit yet, so I still have Martinez in there. And then you probably go back to Varane, Martinez for Arsenal, and then maybe rotate Lindelof, Maguire for the Europa League. And I agree, Lindelof, Maguire is a better partnership than Martinez and Maguire because they're too similar. But I just think that Varane has to be rested. And then the same for Malaysia, given that we do have Luke Shaw, someone's got to be rested. And with Arsenal coming up, it's sort of like the perspective that I see with it. And we don't know yet how Ten Hag is going to operate. But with multiple games a week, kind of sometimes the perspective is you pick your team for the big game, which is Arsenal, and then you work backwards. And that's, I think what's happening now is if you're going to want... all right. Yeah, Fabrizio Romano tweeted, Frankie de Jong stays at Barcelona. No doubts he never changed his mind. See, that's the thing I'm suspicious about. You see there, I will give Fabrizio credit on this. He's been accurate since day one on the de Jong situation. Does not mention the deferred wages. Says he never changed his mind. I don't believe United. That's why I talked about the Sancho 2020 thing. I don't believe them. I don't believe that the deferred wages was actually the holdup. I know they put it out there. I know I heard that myself, but I don't believe him. I think that he did not want to join. Let's see. So that's my thoughts on it. That's my perspective. That's what I believe. So anyway, yeah, and I think, look, Leicester are really struggling. Rashford, Ronaldo, Sancho, Fernandes, Fred, Casemiro, Dalot, Maguire, Martinez, Shaw, De Gea should be more than good enough to beat Leicester right now. And then you can have your first choice team at Arsenal. This team is good enough. Just very, very good for the game. It's really an improvement. I understand that they're out of form, but... there's competition now. I don't think, I know people are unhappy with guys like Maguire and Shaw, but I do think being benched, having this competition is the type of thing that gets players performing. And they're, whatever you think of them, they've made it to top level of football, and the competition should spur them on. I mean, this is their chance to get back into the team and show they can still play well. And I think that they will. So... it also take the pressure off Rashford being a striker again in a less open game, which he's just he's not there yet for it. So that's what I would say for this game. That's what I expect, and I'm really looking forward to it. If I do get anything early, I will absolutely let you know. Otherwise, the lineup is out in a few hours. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's been a good window. It's been fun reporting on all this. It's been chaotic. There's no doubt about this. It's been chaotic overall. Everything has changed so much. And it has not gone to plan, but in the end, it's a decent window. The reporting has been chaotic, but that is because it has been chaotic. So I'll answer a few more questions, and then I've got to end this and get to work. But... Quezzy, hey James, hope you're doing great. What's the deal with Donny? It's been all quiet on him. Yeah, situation is just, he's not that good. He's just not rated that highly. I think once the team is settled, especially with Casemiro in there, he'll be given more chances playing as a forward, because I think it's well understood that he's not the guy to play deeper in the midfield in that kind of overall role. John Murtaugh, Richard Arnold, been under a lot of scrutiny. What is your thoughts on the level of competency? I don't honestly think it's up to them. I think the entire recruitment needs the overhaul, and I think they're working on it, but I think as usual, I will say I know for a fact everything goes through Joel. The Ronaldo situation's on Joel. Not getting a forward in May is on Joel. A lot of things are on them. However, the situation with De Jong, I can blame them and say that they should have handled that a lot better. And they need to do better with that. And I'm not letting them off the hook either. At the end of the day, they're still there and working. Could Donnie play in that team instead of Fred? I don't think so, because I don't think it has any secondary progression at all. Donnie isn't the guy who's going to take it from a little deeper and move it up, whereas Fred is very quick to move the ball forward when he's in that 8 position. So I would say there would be struggles with that. All right, well, let me see if there's any other questions or anything else anyone wants to know. Let me know. I apologize for being gone for a while on the phone in the beginning there. But I try to do these live streams. I'm going to do a lot more of these through the year, so there's a little more active conversation and talk. But yes, same time next year on the window, but same time as well through the whole season. I'm going to do lots of that. This isn't gonna end. Let's see. And anything else before I end off the video? Yes, I'm gonna keep putting. I have like 3 more tapes to put out, 3 more different scenarios and things to talk through about Joel Glazer in 2020. So I will be putting those videos out now that the window is over, and moving forward with those as well. So that'll work. So again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for participating in this window. Gonna have lots more videos and things to come just about everything else. So I really appreciate it all. It means a lot, and I hope we have a great season, and I hope to still see you all in videos and lives in the days to come. So thank you all, and I'll talk to you later.